Vanessa, thank you so much for doing the interview with us today. Heriot-Watt University has completed 20 years in the UAE. What do you think has been the biggest milestone of this journey so far?
Oh, well, there's been many. For me personally, looking at our new campus that we're in today, so this is our James Watt building, this has been exceptional, but it's just a sign as to how much we've actually grown over the last 5 to 10 years of being within the region. I think of my journey here. I've been here for 16 years. Heriot-Watt was already here, and I started in a much smaller campus. This is my 5th campus, actually, now that we're here. And I think just looking at how we've embarked as a community across the globe to really make sure that our 20 years here in Dubai is significant, not just for us as a team of colleagues that work together, but also for the student community and for our graduates.
So, how do you maintain a strong Heriot-Watt identity across different campuses while also ensuring that the Dubai campus retains its local culture and priorities?
Well, I think first and foremost, we have our 4 values to which our staff and our students live by. So our 4 values include to inspire, belong, collaborate and celebrate. And this is all underpinned in everything that we do, whether it be inside the classroom, outside the classroom, and how we liaise with our colleagues. Now, we are a global university and we've always worked globally. So for 16 years, I've been working with colleagues in our other campuses. I was actually privileged to help organise and design the Malaysia campus some years back. So I think we're all very used to working in this global capacity. How do we keep our identity? I think that's very much linked to our community as a whole across the globe. So we have 5 campuses in the UK, Malaysia and Dubai, and we are unique. Each one of us is unique, but we also have that sense of camaraderie, and we make sure that when our students are actually coming to us, they understand that there is a community, that there is a global community that they are actually part of.
Great. Heriot-Watt University Dubai has also expanded its presence at the Dubai Knowledge Park now with the new James Watt building, right? So could you highlight some of the most exciting features?
We have a 220-seater fantastic auditorium, which is used for students to study within, but also for commercial activity. So if we want to hold conferences, for example, we now have a purpose-built space for that particular activity. It has a green room attached to it and it has so much technology linked into the lighting and the sound. So it's like a professional production organisation, so staff and students can utilise that to its full potential. I think other areas of this building include the extra space for students in terms of their recreational side, because it's really important that students aren't just here to study. They also have to have some time where they can actually liaise with each other, take their meetings and have their own communities at their building whilst they've been here. And I think the James Watt building, it reflects the core essence of our original main building, but it's also about lessons learned, and it's about what we did in the old building that we can improve on for the sake of students and staff here. So it's more collegiate and it's more holistic as we move through the building.
And how do these new campuses and extensions strengthen university's role in shaping the higher education landscape in the UAE overall?
I think it helps in terms of showcasing what we can do inside and outside the classroom, but I think it also puts a stand forward that we are not prepared to take anything less than the best for our students. So the community in which they thrive in and which they live in and which they study in should be of the highest value and the highest quality. And through this building, the James Watt building, and also our main campus, we've made sure that thread is there. So if you wander in the corridors of our main campus, you'll see reflections of old Edinburgh and new Edinburgh. And as you now come across the way into the James Watt building, some of those key areas have been reflected. But again, it's about really focusing on the key stakeholders, and that's the community and the body of students that we work for and serve.
Can you tell us about this growth that HWUD has seen over the years, and can you share more about the demographics of your student population as well?
Sure. So 20 years ago we had 120 students and it was a very different place. We now have over 5,000 students. So I think we're a little bit shy of 5,200, 5,300 students now. That's across undergrad, postgrad and also our PGR community. So we've grown exponentially and there is significant potential to grow. We anticipate the growth moving up to around 6,000 within the next 2 to 3 years. Now, across these 2 buildings, this is their home, and we also look at how we can integrate different student bodies as we move through the buildings. So it's not just about the space, It's about the community and the home in which we're kind of communicating to the students. Each and every classroom has been designed specifically for a different need, and it's not just about numbers, it's about the actual activities that take place. So we have digital pods, for example, we've got recording studios, we have rooms which are innovative, and we make sure that students and staff can actually use them for the different pedagogy and curriculum they put forward. I think moving forward for growth, I would like to see more nationalities come, even though we have just shy of 160 nationalities. And in terms of our staff population, we have just shy of 60 different nationalities. So I would like to see even more come. I would like to see the experience of the students learning from each other, if they can, from different cultures as well as different nationalities across these two buildings.
I think this next question is something that everybody would like to know as well. How are you adapting your curriculum to reflect trends in AI, data, and sustainability? And how will this new campus spaces that you brought on bring these changes to life?
So AI is just growing all the time. I mean, 2 years ago, we barely knew what ChatGPT was, and now we have programs specifically on AI.
Mm-hmm.
So it's looking at trends which are global, not just here for the region, although I think the region has a huge influence on what we achieve in terms of these new sort of tech areas and AI areas, fintech, for example, as well. I think the vision of the UAE moving forward into 2033, we're going to have larger numbers coming into the UAE, but it's also about making sure that students and graduates are actually fit for the workplace of what that might be at that time. So we don't have crystal balls, but we can forecast and we can look at these trends and we can potentially try to look at what students might need for the future. So I think one of the joys that I have working with Heriot-Watt is it's always been a university that reflects at the end of each semester and at the end of each academic year, looking at our programmes, looking at trends and seeing how we can nurture not just the student community but nurturing the curriculum that we put in front of them. So we bring in industry partners, we make sure that students have access to outside knowledge. It's not just based on what we can give them from textbooks. So looking at programmes of the future, we are moving forward. We're looking at collaborations with other universities. We're looking at collaborations with different institutions and industry partners. But that's all for the sake and the benefit of making sure that the students are future ready when they exit.
Right. Looking ahead, what excites you the most about the campus extension and the opportunities it will open for your students and staff?
I think it's just an amazing atmosphere to be in, and I feel homesick when I'm away from this particular campus. I don't like being away from it for too long. It's just a fantastic place to work, and we're in Dubai. Students and parents do expect a certain level and quality of the building and the atmosphere that their kids are actually being taught within. And I think that when you walk through the doors here, I personally feel at home. I don't want to work in a different environment. This is where I want to be. And I'm sure that that's the same kind of feeling that prospective students get with their parents as they walk through. It's not just a beautiful building. It's an extremely well considered building. It's high quality and it's looking, again, future forward to make sure that students can grow within this building. And we're not just having to adapt the building to what those programs or the needs of the students and the staff might be.
So earlier this year, all your undergraduate and postgraduate programs at HWUD secured initial accreditation from the UAE Ministry of Higher Education.
Yeah.
What does this mean for families comparing options in Dubai?
So we went through 2.5 to 3 years of going through the accreditation. I lived and breathed it for quite some time with a big group of colleagues, and we had to look at every single course within a programme. So we originally started with 90 plus programmes. We now have 72 that are all accredited, and we went through a big portfolio review at the time, making sure that every programme that we were putting forward with the CAA was valuable for the future. As we've gone through the accreditation process, there are many different ways in which this is actually of value to students. Firstly, it helps us with things like research. So a CAA accredited or approved university has more access to research and more partnerships across the UAE, the MENA and the Gulf region. But it also helps to ensure that students understand that when they get their degree, it isn't just a degree where it says Heriot-Watt, because it doesn't say Dubai, it doesn't say Edinburgh, it is a Heriot-Watt degree. That isn't the only asset that you gain from your accredited degree. You are now in a different community where your degree you can then take overseas back to home countries with a far more confident favour, as it were, so that you can actually take that degree certificate back knowing it's actually been approved by MOHRE and also the CAA.
And many families, especially in Dubai, value international exposure. How does the Go Global program work in practice for a student who wants to spend a term in Scotland or Malaysia?
So we currently have about 250 to 300 students a year who are on the Go Global programme, and they can move between Edinburgh to Dubai, Dubai to Malaysia, Malaysia to Edinburgh. We have approximately 40 students that come here to the Dubai campus, and the Edinburgh campus probably sees about 150 to 200 a year that go through. So students can decide in semester one that they want to go just for one semester, they can decide to go for the whole year, or they can actually make a permanent transfer to an alternative campus. So in theory, as long as our programme is run, that the student is taken across those three campuses, they can do a year in Edinburgh, a year in Dubai, and then a year in Malaysia, and then choose where they're going to do their fourth year. Postgrad students also have the option to do this. It's a seamless transition because everything that's taught in our other campuses is also taught here. Might not be the same day exactly or the same hour, but week by week of a teaching week, those course materials are developed by the global teaching team. So students can be much more confident about knowing that wherever they are in one of our campuses, it's the same education.
What kind of support can a first year student expect in their very first week, from welcome activities to everyday academic guidance to scholarships?
So their first week, which is Welcome Week, they get to meet all their academic team, and the academic teams will go through them the rules and regulations of how they're going to get through over the next 12 months. But it also offers them advice and guidance on who their personal tutor is. So every student is allocated a personal tutor, and they have a personal tutor with them all the way through. So 4 years of undergrad all the way through into postgrad, and then when they become PhD students, then they have their supervisors, but they also have a personal tutor even at that stage. So your personal tutor is there for you to talk to about anything pastoral, not necessarily just about your academics. They also have access to the student council, so we have a very active student council. We have about 15 to 20 members, and they are there for the student community. So they're not just there to help with the Welcome Week, they're not just there to help with events during the academic year, but they're also there to help link students up for different clubs and societies. And that's how students build their own community, and that's how they start to make friends. So it's great being within the classroom. You will meet people in the room, but it's also valuable that you have these outside connections going through. We also have an excellent wellbeing service that is open to all students. So we have a very quiet space on the campus where students can go make an appointment. They can speak in absolute confidence to anybody from the wellbeing team. But they also have support coming through our careers team. And then when they get to the graduate stage, they have support from our alumni team. So each different part of their first year and beyond, there's a whole stream of support for them at different stages.
That's wonderful. If you could encourage every new student to adopt one learning habit in their first month, what would it be and why?
Go to class, ask your questions within the classroom itself. Don't wait until you're outside and then can't remember what it was you're going to ask the teacher. Grab them after the class. And I think that's what I always encourage my students to do is, I'm here for you, I'm here right now. Let's talk about any issues that you might have, or if there's anything that you're not sure about, ask me now. That said, if you go away and you're looking on our virtual learning environment, you're looking back through the notes that the faculty have put up, or the learning materials, and you do have a question, do contact them. So I think get into that habit of asking questions. It's too late near the end of the semester if those questions haven't been asked. And when your faculty is saying to you, is there anybody in the room who has a question? Remember, there's other people in the room that might have the same question as you. So there's no such thing as a silly question. We would just prefer those questions to go out. I would also suggest, I think, that students really engage outside of the classroom with other students, because that's how they build that support network.
Can you share a recent student story that really captures the campus spirit and connection between study and career?
So I've had the privilege of teaching some students who are also our staff members, which is wonderful because I get to be their teacher, but at the same time also their colleague. So some of the more successful things I've seen in that area are where staff have come in absolutely terrified because I'm their teacher and they've known me for several years. And then we embark on, say, a dissertation journey. And it is a privilege to see how they then take their learning that they learn from me and other colleagues in the classroom on my programme, and how they embed that in their working life. I can actually see it, whereas if I have a student who doesn't work here, I'm listening to their stories, I can't see it. So it's always a privilege to watch a staff member go through that journey, whether it be my programme or somebody else's programme. Then I get to do their dissertation journey with them. That's where they really put into place their own idea. So it's just about everything they've learned, it's about their research, and it's about taking their career at Heriot-Watt to that next level. So I get to see that entire back journey, whereas when I'm with my students who don't work here, I see some of it, but I don't always get to see that level of depth. So those, I would say, are my really high level success stories. I can actually see it on a daily basis.
Great. And you yourself have been part of the HWUD story for a very long time. What moments stand out the most in your journey here?
Oh, again, very many. I think it's got to be stemmed around COP28 when our main campus came alive. We had the King of England with us, so King Charles actually visited. That was not just memorable, that was extraordinary. And our provost gave us as colleagues freedom to organise the 2 to 3 weeks of the fringe event. It was supposed to be a very small fringe event, which was running alongside COP28, but I think we had over 3,500 visitors over a 2-week period that came to the main campus. So we had people from industry, we had people from education, we had people flying in from all over the globe, and they were here to take part in COP28, but as part of their trip, they actually then organised time with us. They met our students got free reign and free knowledge. We had about 20 industry partners that set up on the campus, so we had a future skills exhibition that was on the campus, and it was our most monumental period, I think, in terms of what we achieved as a group of colleagues.
Finally, if you had to describe the next chapter for HWUD in 3 words, what would they be?
Another new building.
Lovely. Right, I think that caps off the interview. Thank you so much for
Thank you very
doing
much.
this with us today. And all the best in your new building.
Thank you.